Hello, Papua New Guinea, and welcome to another episode of Sports Scene, proudly brought to you by Coca-Cola. Well, it is Monday, the 4th of November, and that can only mean one thing. Tomorrow is going to be a huge day of sports, and it kickstarts with that do-or-die clash for our Kumals against Samoa in the 2013 Rugby League World Cup. Their second match, they got to win, and I know they will. It's going to be brought to you live on MTV early in the morning, 6 a.m. kickoff. So it's going to be a great way to start the day, watching the Kumals overcome Samoa. And later in the day, of course, we have the famous Melbourne Cup, the race that stops a nation down in Australia, and I think it's going to stop a lot of people up here in Papua New Guinea as well. That's also going to be brought to you live on MTV, so stay tuned for that tomorrow. And we had the Queen's Baton Relay, the baton that accompanies the Commonwealth Games. It arrived in country today. Tomorrow it's going to be touring the streets of Port Moresby, so if you see it, give it a wave, get involved in all the fun and the activities. But before we get to all of that, of course, we do have something to get through tonight, and that is, of course, our show. It's going to be a great show. We have the stories on Besta Cup, the football tournament that took place in Alatau recently, as well as the Kickboxing Cup Quarter Finals. So look forward to getting into that. But now let's get into our sporting briefs for this week.
In the sports briefs this week, the NCD Darts Trophy semi-finals took place on Saturday at the Sports Inn Hotel. Lakatoi Team 1 defeated Kumons Team 1 6-4 to book their spot in the trophy grand final qualifier. They will face Bullets Team 1. Meanwhile, counterparts Lakatoi Team 2 defeated Cebu 6-3 to face Edgewood PX Team 1 this Saturday. In the Port Moresby Rugby League final showdown of the season on Sunday at the Lloyd Robson Oval, the women's finale Hall of Flies tamed Sisters to a 10-4 win, coming out this year's champions. Meanwhile, in the Under-19 division, Double Warriors sailed home with a 6-1 victory over Connie Stones. However, in the A-grade division, the game was called off in the 77th minute due to a dispute over referee Gumaopi's call. Brothers were leading Tarangau at the time 14-10. The judiciary met today to decide on proper measures to take.
Well, there you have it, this week's sporting briefs. An unfortunate end to the Port Moresby Rugby League Grand Final. I hope they sort things out. You don't want the season ending on that note. But well done to the NC Darts Association getting their final series kick-started. And well done to everyone else who took part in sporting activities over the weekend. Keep up the good work. We're going to go to our first break, but when we return, more Sports Scene here on MTV.
Yes, thanks, Andrew. Welcome back to Coca-Cola Sports Scene, and we're here at the International Terminal. The Queen's Baton has arrived here on our shores. Great news for us here in Port Moresby. It will be heading to K-Bank, so you have to stay tuned to MTV as we give you all the updates on the Queen's Baton Relay. Well, before we go to the Besta Cup story, yes, another great football feat down there in Alatau. We'll go to an exclusive press conference with the PRL board and judiciary committee as they give us an update on yesterday's A-grade final that was disrupted.
Games week by week. It's been a challenging year, but not to be so. We've come to the end of the competition. The field will now be demolished, replaced, and we'll come back some minutes later on. But once again, I'd like to thank everybody who have taken a part in whichever way to make the 2013 season come to an end. Going to the grand finals that we played yesterday, the official results are in the women grand final, Hall of Flies, who were the minor premiers at the end of the regular competition, defeated Sisters, our defending premiers from last year, to a tune of 10 points to 4. In the Under-19 grand final, the defending premiers, the Warriors, made it back-to-back, defeating the Flame Connie Storms, 6 points to 1. And in the A-grade match, the game was 14 points to 10. Brothers leading, Parishko PNG Ports Brothers leading Hekari Tarangau until the disruptions at the 77th minute. The exact time recorded on the game clock was 1 minute and 42 seconds before the game was disrupted. And fortunately for all of us, there were not so much damages. Families, wives, women and children went home safely with the help of the police and the board, together with leaders in their own rights who were there on the ground. We managed to bring the situation under control. And for me, from the game's point of view, I was not more worried about who wins the game, the grand final. I was more worried about our crowd and our people going home safely. For that, I thank everybody who took part to bring that unfortunate situation under control. Whatever left from there, we will leave it to the judiciary to determine. I am not in a position to give any details on that. Thank you.
Tarango said that the trial was called fairly, but the referee on that instance said that it was disallowed. That's when the whole confusion started, and the players and officers from Tarango continue to hold the game up for the next probably 20 minutes or something, and then all of a sudden the situation went out of hand, and out of that our good referee Gumaopi was assaulted by Tarango supporters, and the game was judiciary. We had a meeting last night, and we came to a amicable solution, saying that the game has been abandoned, no contest, and the game cannot be replayed. So after the ruling last night, we fined both clubs under Section 28 of official misconduct. Club conduct is under Clause A. We fined them a minimum of 2,000 kina each, both brothers and Tarango, and on the additional 1,000 kina was put on Tarango because of the mere fact that the supporters actually assaulted the referee. So all in all, Tarango on that day was charged 3,000 kina, and brothers 2,000 kina. And might I add here that there is no appeal. It is end of the season. There's no room for appeal. And all I'm saying to both clubs, Tarango and brothers, to humbly accept the decision of the judiciary, and as the game has been called off. And we put in a little bit of a Melanesian feeling in there that we don't want to hurt anybody or do any uproar. So the cash of 40,000 kina, is it MEKE, right? 40,000 kina has been split 20,000 kina a piece, prize money. So, I mean, if we say we get Tarango the first prize or brothers first prize, and then we'll have a lot of confusion going on, or a lot of commotion, and at the same time probably bad feelings among the two teams, including the officials. So we thought, in the best interest of rugby league, we thought we made a very sensible decision, something that's amicable and understandable. It's a Melanesian flag we put in there, so that 20,000 can be given to brothers, given to Tarango. And might add also that out of the 20,000, the fees, the fines will be deducted from those almost 20,000 a year. But all in all, with my brother committee member David Silvo, he's also from the PNG National Rugby League judiciary there. We feel that the two teams have brought the game to in disrepute, and never seen in my 28 years of my rugby league career there. I've never seen a grand final end up this way. And it's a very sorry state, because you know why? This is our last grand final after how many years? For 60 years of rugby league in Portmos rugby league. We thought that we will end this historic event with a grand final, but not to be.
And also it was a reflection of our interest and our motivation to have the works at PRL going. And vice versa, how you look at it, both ways you look at it, the game is solved. The game was abandoned, and the result that was on the field of play stood as it is. When you look at it both ways, there is a no-win situation for anybody. The premiership will be shared by both clubs. They're joint premiership holders for our grand final. This is done in the interest of rugby league itself. And we're not looking back now. As my chairman has said, there's no appeals, whatever. We are not looking back, we are going forward. We want ourselves out of the way so the Board of Trustees come inside and put the stadium up ready for the 2015 games. This is why, we will have to look forward. The game is dissolved. The game on Saturday is dissolved. There's no result on that. There's abandoned. And as the chairman has said, in the true spirit of management cultures, we say we have to share the prize money up.
The Besta Cup Southern Leg Championships proved a thrilling tournament for another year. Lighting up the town of Alatau, it was another football feat for teams fighting it out for the title. In the women's grand final, Port Moresby Soccer Association took on Tabubil. It went down to the wire as both teams drew 0-0 at full time and the match headed into extra time. Both teams were determined to win, however Port Moresby edged their rivals through Linda Birum for that much-needed goal to win 1-0. Meanwhile, in the men's grand final, Copa did battle with Port Moresby Soccer Association. Port Moresby proving too strong for their rivals, defeating Copa 3-1. Yes, and there you have it, the Besta Cup, yes, wrapped up another successful game. Before we go to a break, we're joined by Sir JD and Joanne. Welcome to the country.
Thank you.
Tell us a bit about the baton relay.
So we launched the baton relay on the 9th of October from Buckingham Palace, when Her Majesty placed the message into the baton, which will remain closed until the opening ceremony of the Glasgow 2014 Games next year. We are going to be travelling through 70 Commonwealth nations over 288 days, and we're going to be in Oceania for the next 68 days. So very, very exciting times. And of course, we're here in Papua New Guinea with Sir John.
Yes, Sir John, you're holding that really comfortably.
It is, yeah. Well, I've done very little as far as the organisation goes. I've left it to the ladies, Tamsin Wadley and Ovita, to take control of everything. So I'm just a passenger for the time being, but we've got an exciting relay starting in the morning and ending up at the cricket grounds where there'll be, we've joined up with UNESCO, and therefore the theme will be focusing on kids and the future of PNG, and they'll have their show at the cricket grounds tomorrow morning. So, and on Wednesday morning we're off to caving, beautiful caving, and it'll be an experience, I'm sure. So we won't let too much out of the bag at this stage. But the governor, Sir Julius Chan, has got his organising committee, and at the head of that is Fiona Speedy, in Moresby and caving, and hopefully the weather is kind to us as it's been today. So, we've got plan A, B, and C. So
stay tuned. We'll give you more on the Queen's Baton Relay. We'll go for a break now. Coming up on the other side, there's plenty more on Coca-Cola Sports Scene. Yes, and welcome back to Coca-Cola Sports Scene. We're joined here by our good friend Mike. You're here with the torch. We spoke earlier to Sir JD and Joanne, but tell us a bit about the baton itself.
Well, the baton itself really acts as a unifying symbol, calling upon all the athletes of the Commonwealth to come together in success, in a celebration of sport, culture and diversity, all in Glasgow in July next year. It was launched on the 9th of October at Buckingham Palace by Her Majesty the Queen, where you can see inside the baton here, she has placed her message personally. And as I say, on the opening ceremony, the night of the opening ceremony, she will read this message to all the athletes of the Commonwealth, and the competition will start at that point. It's certainly a great opportunity whilst it travels through the 70 nations and territories, and it's going to go to all 70 nations and territories over 288 days. As it's in each country, like here now in Papua New Guinea for the next 4 days, and in those 4 days it'll act as really a symbol to get the local population to get in behind your team, Team PNG, to really inspire your athletes to be the best that they can be when that field of play in Glasgow next year.
It's going to be headed up to Kavieng.
It is indeed, yes.
You're looking forward to traveling with the baton around Port Moresby and Kavieng?
Absolutely, I am. I mean, I've only been to PNG once before, and that was almost 20 years ago when I was a younger man, and Sir JD was a younger man as well. I'm really looking forward to seeing the people and mixing with the people over the next four days and having a great time.
We'll leave you to it then.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll go for our next story for the show for this week, and it is the quarterfinals for the Kickboxing Cup. The Highlands region dominated the quarterfinals of the Kickboxing Cup at the Sports Scene Hotel last Wednesday. The Highlands region came out in full force, winning most of the divisions, including newcomers in the sport from Enga and Hela. Chief Executive Officer of KB1 Promotions, Stanley Nandex, said he was impressed with the performance and the outcome of the event. Nandex added that the concept of the tournament was a way to promote and develop fighters on a professional level. He said it wasn't about who went through to the semi or grand final, it was about identifying talent. He went on to thank the provincial governors for their support, as it is an investment made to the young people to have a second chance in life through this sport. The Kickboxing Cup began with over 100 fighters. After the quarterfinals, 28 fighters remain for the semi-finals to be held in Lae this month. Yes, and there you have it, the quarterfinals of the Kickboxing Cup done and dusted. Lae City, brace yourselves, the semi-finals are headed your way. Okay, before we go for a break, take a look at the screen. That is the team's Kumu squad that will be taking on Samoa tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. live on MTV. There you have it, our very own Team Kumu. We'll go for a break now. Coming up on the other side, Andrew wraps up Coca-Cola Sports Scene for another week.
Welcome back, viewers, and it is time to say farewell for another week. But before we do that, let me just remind you again of all the great offers, courtesy of Coke, that you're seeing in your stores, including that 500 ml bottle for only 3 kina. Make sure you enjoy PNG's #1 refreshment. And of course, those of you who want to join us on Facebook, like us, comment, and I'll make sure I'll read out some of those comments next week on Sports Scene. And join us also on Thursday for Hotspot, where we will be interviewing Adrian Lamb and getting his feedback on the match against Samoa. That match, of course, tomorrow morning live on your screens, courtesy of MTV. Make sure you tune in, make sure you cheer, and make sure the boys can hear us all the way over there in England from the other side of the world. It is going to be live, so everyone I know in the nation, throughout the nation, villages, coastal, highlands, everywhere is going to be tuning in to support our very own Team PNG Kumus. Go the Kumus! And of course, tomorrow also on MTV at midday, the Melbourne Cup race. It's going to be a great race. No real favorites this year, so it's going to be exciting. Hope you got your bets in and you're a winner tomorrow. And another reminder of the Queen's Baton Relay. It's going to be in the streets in Port Moresby tomorrow, and then it gets over to Kavieng. So if you're in Kavieng or the nation's capital, make sure you support that wonderful event, the Queen's Baton Relay, touring around the world in the lead up to the 2014 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. And it is Papua New Guinea's turn this week when the Baton visits us. A gift from the Queen, so we should be excited about that. Well, viewers, thank you for joining me for another episode of Sports Scene, brought to you by Coca-Cola. Enjoy your week and go the Kumus!